told me today, said, well, have you stopped calling and complaining to your representatives, the president and the governor's office, now that social services has taken your child and placed him with your sister? No, I haven't. I haven't stopped complaining because when I typed it up properly at the beginning on XP, on Windows XP, and my properly orchestrated and my properly spelled and my properly punctuated grievances got deleted every time I'd punch out or type up a couple of paragraphs. They would just flicker away every time I put something coherent into proper composure on the internet, and they just flicker away. Then I just started going ahead and posting whatever I got typed out without editing it so it wouldn't get flickered away, and that started getting deleted and not posted. I'd look back and it wouldn't be on my timeline. I'd look back at the conversation I was involved in and it wouldn't get in my, it wouldn't be registering. I would try over and over and I would double check to be sure it went up there, and it was being erased as quick as I could write it coherently with a lot of effort. So then I started making videos to try to correspond with my representatives, my grievances. And they would go and be deleted or obstructed to where they were not posting on YouTube. First I tried to live stream it and videotape it on YouTube. And every time I'd talk to it, and then I'd go and look, and it would be gone. Then we upgraded to the next session, and even now today, if I properly compose a grievance that is so properly composed that it compels action, it gets deleted. And now people say, why are you so frustrated? Why you yell all the time? Why can't you have a civil, happy tone like the rest of us? Because the rest of you guys don't have common sense to see what needs to be said, and I'm not allowed to say it, so I keep on having to say it, and I call your offices and you ignore me, and all my grievances are out the window, and I am totally beyond words because I have been obstructed to the point to where the new method of social media doesn't illustrate a new level of freedom from the obstructionist representative, lawyers, and doctors and insurance companies that it should. We shouldn't have to cow to administrators that won't even give us enough consumer protections that we can post and submit our properly composed grievances via the modern social media network, which should alleviate the ability of the insurance and other influences of, excuse me, I'm having a blank, of the lobbyists and all of those kind of entities that their economical abilities way outweigh the consensus of the population. Almost all the government has been formed without a consensus of the masses. It is a small minority of residents who are holding the rest of the residents as hostage. I'm almost inclined to unregister to vote at this point. I do not think it is lawful to be denied servitude over your personal possessions, which is your home, which means I don't believe property tax is proper. The counties wage property tax on the citizens, then the citizens basically pay for the utility for the tourists and the commercial industries to make a profit, when they should take that money to service the utilities that they use in at the point of sales. If I'm a farmer and I sell a tomato to somebody, I should pay a sales tax at the point of commerce to service the utilities that the truck transports that tomato to the consumer. Yes, and after the truck transports it to the shopping center and unloads it, then there needs to be another sales tax at the point that the consumer buys it, because they have to use the utilities to get it to their home, their families. That shouldn't be a burden placed on the property owners that restrain or abstain from using the utilities. We shouldn't be forced to leave our homes to procure $1.75 a day to service the property taxes, because if you have to leave your home, you have to service automobile insurance, you have to service fuel, tires, and it all adds up to a lot more than you profit. Anyhow, I have said this a whole bunch of different ways to Sunday for the last 5 years since the innovation of social media has come, and every which way we innovate, they suppress. They don't want us to break free of the chains of these radical group of government employees sanctioning our communications, our media, and our ability to self-sustain at a homestead. We got technology. The average parcel of land, a quarter acre, 3/4 of an acre, a third of an acre, is more than enough for one individual family or one individual to garden and become sustainable. And if they're not sustainable, fine. Procure some tax money for the utilities that they use when they go out here and do commerce at the point of sales. Stop enslaving the residents is to go out here and get Caesar his money over and over. Now, this is not well composed. This is not well constructed. This is off the hip, because anything I put any diligence in will get erased off the internet, no matter how many different avenues of the internet I try to upload it on. It might not even upload at all. I will go home on my Wi-Fi, push upload to Facebook, and odds are, if I take the time to compose something properly, it's not going to upload. It's not going to post. It's going to be erased. So yes, I call, and I am very, very, very agitated at the government employees that don't acknowledge the first time I called. They don't acknowledge the second time I call, and they just force us to delegate all of our responsibilities and our sovereignty through compulsory attendance laws and all these laws that are unnatural and uncoherent, are causing defects in all of society by the stress that they cause. Now, I can go in great lengths about why I think that the system of the public school system causes stress. First off, in the wintertime, you have to get up at 6:30 or 6 before the sun rises to catch the bus or to prepare to leave the house and go to school. You do not get to finish your sleep. That leaves the doors open for the psychiatry industry and these physicians to try to prescribe narcotics and medications to substitute the natural benefits of sleep. and allows people to control the masses of the nation from by just basically depriving them of sleep. It makes them irritable. It causes active shooters and fights in school, which causes the kids in the school to have to go through the judicial system. And the judicial system involves social services, and all of that is a constructed industry to create jobs. It's not healthy. It is counterproductive for the development of a natural society. I am not one that had to go to these schools all the time. And when I did go to school, I didn't have to be there till 9. And guess what? I got good cognitive ability, and most of all, I got inductive and deductive reasoning, to where most things that people find unconceivable and undoable, I confront and work through with ease. I shouldn't have to be forced to dissect and analyze this system of judicial manipulation like I am being forced with this social services case. But I am going to, because it is not right that a vengeful teacher, a counselor that denies ever counseling a kid, although she had face-to-face encounters with that child once a week for 4 months prior to calling social services and making a report, denies ever administering any kind of counseling service. The school administrator's office denies that my son ever incurred any kind of counseling services, although he spoke with the counselor once a week for 4 months prior to the DSS call. They coerced a statement that was an allegation of our horseplay, quote, spar, quote, training, and they coerced a statement that they say is sufficient to petition for custody. Without a medical evaluation, they took custody of my child. Within the first day, they did no medical evaluation. The second day, they had no physician examine my son. The third day, they had no medical evaluation. The fourth day, no physician, and so on, until the 7-day hearing, when I said, no, I was not punching my son in the stomach. He has a bruise. I was rubbing it to aerate it so it would properly drain, as I have been accustomed, first-hand knowledge of a procedure to treat bruises. Well, they found me in medical neglect. They dropped all the roughhousing and found that it was medical neglect, evidently, because it caused distress, and I should have went and seen a physician. Well, they found me in neglect. They forced me to take a first aid course, and in that first aid course, the instructor said, for a bruise, you are to rub it to alleviate and aerate so it didn't form blood clots. Guess what? I was found in neglect by a judge without any input from a medical professional. So basically, I am coinciding with what Trump is going through, and that is a witch hunt. And they are using their discretion and their level of authority, not their level of education, but their level of authority to condemn people without the proper They didn't ever take him to the doctor. And then when they did take him to the doctor, there wasn't no procedure prescribed. Okay? They totally are just trying to defame me because of my persistence to petition my government for changes that would make our society less susceptible to the demeanor of Nazis. Thank you and have a good day. And guess what? I will raise my voice. I will tell the government employees I am tired of their fucking asses, and I do not need to be reprimanded or referred to any kind of counseling from these deficient, retard, brain dead motherfuckers. Have a good day.